Alright YouTube, so we have another interview to look at, this time with Pete Hines and GamesIndustry.biz. This interview is actually from E3. I don't know why they've waited like over a month to post it. We had like one or two other interviews that did this as well. Not sure why they wait so long. Now, it's not super different from any of the other interviews that we have seen. There's a lot of questions answered the exact same, but Pete Hines does this weird kind of interesting comparison for Fallout 76 to Destiny of all games. And while there could be some similarities between both of these games, I think they're pretty damn different. I'll touch on that as we go. So the article kind of starts out just talking about general information for Fallout 76, and then it leads into the lack of NPCs and how that's kind of a big deal that people are talking about, and then we get Pete Hines' response. In Destiny, they still have NPCs, he explains. If you want to buy something, you don't go to other players, you can't go to other players. You go to NPCs and say, I want to buy this, I saved up enough of these things. In our game, if that's how you want to play, you do that with other players. You trade with other people, you travel around the map and buy and sell stuff from folks, or you can set up a shop. But it's still a role-playing game. Yes, there's an element of PvP, but it's not every man for himself and the last one standing wins. If you see somebody, you don't have to kill them before they kill you because it's not a shooter. It's not Battle Royale or any of 100 other things that people assumed that it was. It's an RPG where you can still do quests and explore the world. So yeah, I don't really know why he randomly chose Destiny of all games to compare it to, because like there's plenty of other games where you buy stuff from an NPC trader. Destiny's a weird comparison because they're pretty different games. They're kind of MMOs. I don't know that you'd really consider Fallout 76 an MMO, but it has PvP built into the game, and survival mechanics are like forced in the game. Whereas Destiny, at least Destiny 1, that I haven't played Destiny 2 at all, is like almost entirely PvE. You have to go out of your way to go to separate game modes to do PvP with other players. And something I want to address is he mentions that it's not every man for himself, and if you come across another player, you don't have to kill them before they kill you. But that's not exactly true if we can kill each other anytime we want to. They've never outright said that. We don't have 100% confirmation that I can walk up to you, shoot you, and kill you. They keep beating around the bush about it and kind of talking about challenges and systems in place to prevent that kind of stuff. But then you got like an interview where Pete Hines mentions that you come across a group of 4 players who are role-playing as raiders, and you might die in a situation. And then Todd Howard, when we look back at like the Bounty and Wanted system video I did, Todd Howard mentions that if you murder another player, which means there's no challenge in place, you murder another player, that's when you get the bounty on your head. That's when you become wanted and people can kill you and earn caps. So like, in one interview, it seems like you can kill anybody anytime you want to, and then other interviews, it seems like you can't. Like, that's where the confusion lies with PvP. They haven't outright told us what exactly is going on. In our previous games, if you're walking up a hill and there's an enemy NPC we've placed there, there's a little red thing that shows up on your compass to say, that guy's a bad guy, Hines explains. We cheated for you, you already know. But in Fallout 76, you don't know anything about that person or what their motives are unless you've come across them before. There are systems in place to keep it from turning into a gunfight if that's not what people want. It does PvP, but more like issuing challenges. And so we're still figuring some of this out in playtesting, but the basic idea is you see somebody and there should be tension. In that respect, it's no different than I walk into a town in Fallout 4 and see a Deathclaw. This damn Deathclaw comparison is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I ranted about that in a separate video. I'm going to do it again in this video. But first off, he mentions how there's systems in place to prevent it from becoming a gunfight if you don't want it to be a gunfight. Now, if that's the case, if I don't have to worry about PvP because there's something in place that I can make it to where you can't kill me or whatever the case, how is there ever tension for that? How is there ever tension if I can decide I don't want us to fight? The only way that there can be tension is if I see another player when I'm playing and they have the option to kill me when they see me. That's the only way there's tension. I don't know what's confusing about this that I don't understand, or what's confusing about it that they can't explain it properly, because this shit does not make any sense. And something else that I want to address that I'm not sure if I fully addressed the way I'm going to right now is when it comes to PvP, if you kill me, you apparently get wanted, you get a bounty on your head, you get a little bit of caps, but I don't know if we know for sure if you get experience. You can't loot me. I lose nothing for dying. I respawn. It's almost like it never happened. So my question is, if that's the case, where at all is the fucking tension whenever we come across each other? If I lose nothing and you practically gain nothing from killing me, how is there at all any tension to the PvP? They keep talking about when you come across another player, they want that drama and want that tension. Where is that stuff if PvP is almost entirely pointless? And again, I have to say this in every video, I'm not complaining about the PvP or the multiplayer for Fallout 76. I'm getting the game, I'm beyond excited to play with other people. But the only way there'd be tension with us coming across each other would be if you could kill me and loot me. Like, this is really the only tension there could be, or if I lost some sort of progression when I died. but that's not the case. We lose essentially nothing for dying or killing each other, so there really is no tension, even if you could kill me anytime you wanted to. You could try 5 more times and die and then go, it's too powerful for me, I'm going to go away and do other stuff, or just travel around the area and come back later, he says, continuing his Deathclaw analogy. It should be exactly the same with anyone else. They shouldn't be able to impede your progress, they can't steal your shit, they can't kill you. So for those of you that don't know, Pete Hines' Deathclaw analogy is, if you come across a Deathclaw in Fallout 4, it might kill you. Once you respawn, you have the option to go back to where the Deathclaw was and try to fight it again. Now, it might kill you again, or maybe you'll kill it this time, and that's what he's trying to compare the PvP to, that's supposed to be essentially like that. For starters, that's a terrible analogy because a Deathclaw is 100% always an enemy. It's always going to attack me when I get near it. It's always going to be a red tick on my radar, and you're trying to compare the PvP to that. If you're trying to tell me that every player I come across is like a Deathclaw, horrible comparison. But the biggest flaw with this Deathclaw analogy is that a Deathclaw kills me. Once I respawn, I have the option, of course, to go back and try to fight it, or I could turn around, walk the opposite direction, and never have to give that Deathclaw a second thought. And that's not how it's going to work with an actual player. If I respawn after you kill me and I start walking the other direction, you have the option to chase me down. That Deathclaw does not. That Deathclaw is programmed. It is designed to stay right there where it was when I fought it. It's not going to... If a Deathclaw kills me, I respawn at whatever the last autosave was. He's over here in the glowing sea. I'm over here, I don't know, somewhere. And I walk over to Diamond City. That Deathclaw is not going to travel from the glowing sea all the way to Diamond City to try and fight me. An actual player, however, has that option. You have control of your character. You can do whatever you want. The Deathclaw analogy does not work. Look, my biggest issue with the PvP is that it's pointless to the point that, like, why does it exist? Why does it need to be in the game at all? You could take the ability for us to kill each other out of Fallout 76, and the game wouldn't change at all because you gain nothing from killing each other. Like, the game could have simply been just a shared world game. Like, we play PvE with each other. We all can be in groups of 4. We can all, there's, 24 to 32 players in the world, and we're all just running around in groups questing and building settlements and stuff. There's no need for it. It's pointless to the point that it's an inconvenience. Like, if you have the ability to kill me anytime you want to, but you're gaining nothing from it, I'm not really losing anything except time, like, why does it exist? Trading stuff is a pain in the ass, he says, so people would use guns and weapons they found to break those down into parts they needed to upgrade their own stuff and use the ammo they find. You can do that. Nothing says you have to trade or else, because that's taking choice out of your hands. I've now dictated a system that you can't live without, but what if that's not how you want to play? What if you want to be a loner who just lives off the land and builds the stuff that he needs, uses the workshop he finds in the wasteland? That should all be viable. So right here is discussing the lack of NPCs, and more specifically the lack of NPC traders, and how in-game, in Fallout 76, if you don't want to trade with another player, you don't have to. You can live off the land, as he says. Instead of, having to worry about trading with another player, you can just do quests and loot and craft everything that you need, which I think is a good point, because I'll be honest, when it comes to Fallout 4 specifically, I didn't really buy a whole lot of stuff from the NPC traders. Like, I might have bought, like, the signature weapons and armors that you really couldn't get anywhere else. But, like, when it came to, I never was, like, saving up caps to buy this new regular gun from the shop because I probably already looted it by now. And when he puts it that way, that's probably how I'm going to be playing Fallout 76. I'll definitely mess with the trading a little bit, maybe even a lot. I don't know until I actually am playing the game. But when it comes to a random player, like, trying to buy stuff from them, you don't know what they're going to have. Once you've bought from an NPC vendor in a Fallout game, however, you do know what kind of ammos they sell, and whether or not they have stim packs, and what other kind of weapons and armors they might actually have. But you won't know that about some random player that you meet out in the wasteland. They may not have anything that you even want. So I personally see myself being the guy that crafts a lot of things, and probably going to be somebody that sells a lot of stuff too. I don't know that I'm going to have a trader character. I don't know if I'm going to invest in perks and things for trading, but I can see myself at least selling stuff to players. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all the Fallout 76 information worth talking about. I kind of went off on a tangent and a rant there for a bit. I'm not mad about the PvP in Fallout 76. I'm mad that it's pointless. We gain nothing from it. I would almost want us to be able to loot each other, so there is a point to us killing each other. Because as of right now, its existence isn't justified. It makes no sense if we're trying to be realistic and be in a post-apocalyptic setting that you would kill me and then for whatever reason not loot me for supplies. Anyways, guys, as always, let me know your thoughts below, and if you went on to enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter at @TheDashingDavid. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me forever for a while, quit